As a teenager, Harry Potter and Princess Diaries movie, there's a movie called Princess Diaries, used to be my two most favorite movies. And by the way, when I say Harry Potter, all the chapters that were released until then, when I was a child, I used to be a big fan of those movies. And what happened was, I started discussing about it a lot. I started thinking about those movies a lot. I started living in that movie. Like, how would it be if I were at Hogwarts? How would it be if suddenly I am a princess? These kind of things I started imagining and living them so much. So eventually, when I'm going to school, when I'm coming back from school, I started speaking the same sentences. I started applying those sentences in my daily life. I used to act them with the same tone, with the same kind of pronunciation. And those nearly, even now, each dialogue in that movie is like thorough in me, actually. Because I've spoken them so many times, I've repeated them so many times, I've applied them so many times in my life. So, nearly 10 to 12 years down the line, when I'm training my students, the other learners, the other people, adults, on how to become fluent in English, the common question they ask me is, how did you develop your fluency? Give us few techniques, or tell us how to become as fluent as you are. This is the common question I get from my students, from adults, whomever, whom I'm training actually. So this question actually got me thinking, how did I develop fluency? What exactly did I do? What were the techniques that I really applied? I really didn't know. But eventually, thinking about it, what did I do? What is the best practice? One thing that popped up in my mind is that the most essential thing in developing fluency and speaking grammatically right sentences is learning language in chunks. See, many of them tell me that when they learn a language, they read newspapers, they read books, they pick out lots of new vocabulary, they write it in their books and all these things. But practically, it is not very much possible, because you can learn new vocabularies and new words, but what about sentence formation? Speaking is all about sentences, right? You use good phrases in your speech. Only then it is a speech, only then you communicate. So just by learning vocabularies, one thing is you cannot remember all those vocabularies you learned. Second thing is, learning good vocabularies necessarily does not mean that you are producing grammatically correct sentences fluently. So one best practice that anyone could do, that I did personally, was nothing but learning the language in chunks. When you read a book, when you are watching a movie, see to it that you pick up few sentences, few, not a lot, but few. Start using them in your daily life. First, try to practice your mouth. Tell those sentences, repeat those sentences. Try applying them in your daily life as much as I did, because this is the technique which I followed unknowingly. Okay, I didn't know that I'll have to learn language in chunks so that I can become fluent one day. All this I didn't know. Subconsciously, I've been doing this practice with all the languages that I learned, with Telugu, with French, with English, with any other language that I learned. That's exactly what I did. And eventually, I achieved fluency also. Many of the languages that I speak, if you ask me the grammar of the language, if you ask me to teach the language, I'll not be able to. I can speak, read, write, but I don't know the exact grammar formation and all of those languages. So fluency, the first thing to achieve fluency is nothing but you learn the language in chunks, sentences. Because when you learn languages as sentences, one very big advantage is that you need not worry about the grammatical correctness. You won't have that second thought in your mind thinking about fluency. How fluent I am? Am I speaking the right sentence? Is it right? Is that correct? Is this wrong? Is this the word right? then you will start hesitating, then you will start stuttering, and then your fluency is broken. So when you start picking up sentences from these English movies or books that you read, when you apply it in your speech, when you are practicing it, naturally your fluency develops, and you can be very confident of the fact that you are producing grammatically correct sentences. So the first step, the first technique you need to follow in becoming or in the journey towards fluency is learn the language in chunks. Take out phrases, that is sentences from movies, good sentences from movies. Pick out sentences from books. If someone is speaking English fluently, pick out good sentences that they are using. Write it down in a book, or take a chit, a paper, write it down. Unless and until you are able to apply it subconsciously, keep practicing it, keep applying it in your speech. So one day, like this, over a period of time, your fluency also will improve. See, any skill for that matter, language is a skill, English fluency is a skill. Learning a skill, imbibing a skill varies from person to person, and it is not a process where you learn it and then you can be happy with it, that's it, you've completed that process. No, a skill is something that you keep upgrading from time to time, and a skill is something that will vary from person to person. Maybe I was able to learn English in a matter of few months or few days. Few days is never possible, but few months. That might not be the same with you. You might take a year or 6 months, or even you might learn in a month. It's up to you. So what I'm trying to say is, this is a journey. The goal here is to become fluent. Okay? So the first thing we need to, like a check post, the first check post we need to remove is hesitation. So once when you remove that hesitation, to remove the hesitation, you can learn the language in chunks, you can produce it. So the moment you've lost your hesitation, you start becoming fluent little by little. And when you learn these phrases, when you're applying it, your conversation techniques, your fluency will improve. So we are on a journey towards fluency, right? So this is the first technique that I've shared with you in today's video. Many more videos coming up on how to become a fluent English speaker. We will talk about many grammars, many techniques, and all these things that will help you to become a fluent English speaker. If you liked my video, if you want to learn more about English and fluency, and if you're interested in it, do not forget to like the video, subscribe to my channel so that you will get all the videos on time when I post them. Until next video, speak English fearlessly and fluently. Thank you.